I'm here today with Sicario. Sicario does not, he's about a year and a half old German Shepherd. He does not like having his feet or tail brushed out, which is a problem because when he runs through a field, he gets foxtails. So I'm just gonna work with him a little bit today. I've got a comb, I've got a handful of treats. I just plucked some treats out of a bag, and my rule is when I run out of treats, we're done training. Now what I'm looking for, and I'm gonna start working with his tail here, maybe, or possibly a paw. I'm gonna start working with whatever he gives me. And I'm gonna say, okay, we are at a terrible angle is what I'm gonna say. Come here, Sicario. There you go, good boy. Hi. Can you lay down for me? No, you can't eat all the treats. Sit. I mean, that would actually work pretty well right there. Come here, bud. So I've got my little comb here. I'm just gonna take his tail, and what I'm looking for is the point at which he reacts and says, no, I don't think I like that anymore. He's doing really well here for me, and I've done several strokes now, so I'm gonna give him a couple of treats. Well, one treat. Not my whole hand, buddy. And look, here's a paw. Oh, he really doesn't want me getting those paws. Therefore, that's what I'm gonna get. Let me see the paw. Hi, silly goose. Now you can see already, he's turning around and sort of opening his mouth at me. He's not doing so aggressively. He's doing so more like a, oh, play, you have my toes. I'm gonna do it again. Taking the paw nearest me. Now I have a treat in my hand. I'm actually gonna put it down because he's not thinking. He's so busy just reacting to the fact that I have a treat. Thanks, bud. That he's not actually realizing I'm holding his paw. So I need him to realize that. So I gave him a little treat there. Now I know I can trim his nails pretty easy. If I were looking for foxtails, I'd need to be digging through all of this fur and really poking around in here. He's doing pretty well. Now, because I'm watching his body language, even as I poke around through here, what I just saw was that he picked his head up, he started to turn it away, we got a big yawn, he's trying to release stress. So when I see these little signals, this is when I need to react. This is when I'm gonna say, okay, he's not over threshold yet, but yet is the key word here. He snapped at the comb, but again, that was very much a, oh, let me see if I can snap at this. It's kind of fun, maybe it's a game. So I just ignored it and he stopped. Good boy. I'm putting my fingers between his little paw pads. Now he was panting because he's hot, and he stopped panting all of a sudden. Gonna give him another treat. That tells me that he just made a decision. That was a decision point for him. And I want him to know that I appreciate the decision he made, which was at minimum to stay calm. Hi, thanks. Now I'm gonna see if he'll let me come over here. He may say, no, Jenna, I want to follow your treats, but I'm hoping if I give him one for staying here, that he won't. I'm gonna check it back. Now you see how closely he's watching me all of a sudden? He came around, his little ears pitched hard forward. He was like, what are you doing with my back paw? So I'm gonna give him a little reward. No. And that time when he took the treat, he tried to take it. He's still pretty soft-mouthed, but it was definitely like a mom. Hi, gentle. There we go. So I kept the treat in my hand. I didn't let it go. And I kept it until he can take treats gently. But part of what that tells me is that his arousal level is amping up here as I handle him. So I'm just gonna keep that in mind because I don't want that to get very high. Oh yeah, he pulled his toes back. He said, I don't like that. I kept holding on. I realized the camera's not the ideal angle here. I kept holding on while he pulled it back, but I stopped going through his toes and I gave him another treat. Hi. He's got his ears sort of slicked back just a little bit. They're not pinched against his head, but it's definitely like a, that's weird. He's very closely watching what I'm doing with his paw. Whoops, there you go. Now, I think if I continue with this paw, he's given me enough signals here. The ears have tipped back, just a little bit tense. Hey, you can't have all treats. Oh, you can have that piece, I'm sorry. He's sort of watching. He's got a little white of the eye showing here and there that he's starting to flash. I'm gonna say, we're done with that because I don't wanna push him farther than that. Hi, but just because I'm done with one thing doesn't mean I have to be done totally. So I'm gonna pick his tail up. We're gonna look for pretend foxtails. I know he's not been in the yard. And again, he's watching me pretty closely. Now as I brush through her tail, I've got a comb here, and what I'm doing is like pulling maybe 1/4 of an inch each time. Think about a little girl's hair. That's kind of how you want to brush these long coats. Now notice he's not looking at me anymore. I'm still glancing towards him because I'm going to watch and see if he flashes the whites of his eyes at me. His little face is tense, so he stopped panting, and that alone tells me something right there. Mostly he shipped because he heard his siblings start barking, but I'm still going to give him a bunch of treats because clearly all of that was like, I don't like this as much. Huh, yeah. This is why it's so important to understand what your dog is saying, so that as these little things start popping up, you can see them. Now you can see sort of crawling up into my lap. What you can't see is that the whites of his eyes are now there. He's saying, oh, I'm kind of stressed out about this, Jenna, and I'm gonna get up and I'm not sure I like this. If I really needed to get this done, I might continue. But since this is a training session, I'm gonna be really respectful of the fact that he's just said in many ways, I'm not sure of this, and I'm trying really hard to be good. I'm not great about it. It's a little weird, and I don't think I like it. So I'm just gonna give him the rest of the treats here. Hi. He's taking them much more relaxed than he was a minute ago, which is important to me. It tells me that he's not like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. He's like, no, okay, I can think, my brain's turned on, I know how to be careful. That's what I wanna see. Huh, Sicario? Yeah. Yeah.